We are Be Well Health and Wellness Consultants, and we're inviting you into our toughest and most honest conversations with each other.
We believe in honest, educated, science-based health promotion and that everyone should have access to this kind of information.
Tune in to hear our hearts for you as we uncover the not-so-pretty side of the health and wellness industry on the Healthy is Hard podcast. Hello and welcome back to the Healthy is Hard podcast. It is your co-host Bailey here, and I am so excited that you are here with us today. You are in for a really special treat. You are actually going to be listening to a recorded live video from last week in our online wellness community called Worthy of Wellness. It is on Facebook. It is a free group to join for anyone interested in really having the tools that you need to start out on your health journey no matter where you're at. So if you're just interested in what we do or how we help people, that is a great place to get started. We are always sharing free resources in there and extra special things like this live video. So we get to introduce you today to our brand new women's health expert at Be Well Health and Wellness Consultants, Desi Stapleton. She is an absolute gem, and we're so thankful to have her on the team. You all get to hear firsthand today her story of going through some personal health issues and really figuring out what worked for her and how she actually got really interested in health and why she is now a health educator. Now, before we get started, I will go ahead and tell the guys that this is probably not for you unless you're interested in women's health and advocating for us. Today is the first day of Women's History Month, so it's a great time to learn and really just educate yourself. But no matter who you are or where you're listening from today, I want to take this opportunity to invite you next Monday, the 8th of March, 2021 at 12 noon Eastern Time, and then again at about 7 o'clock Eastern Time, we are going to be hosting a women's health webinar for International Women's Day. It is so incredibly important to be educated about your body and all of the amazing things that it does, but also some really cool things that you can be doing to help support your body to make sure that it is functioning at peak performance. We really recorded this live video because women's health can still be a little bit taboo, and so we really wanted to take the mask off of that and open up the conversation. Autoimmune diseases, women's health complications are on the rise in our society, and it's so important that in order to slow that progression down, we are all aware of how our bodies are functioning and what really makes us work best, all of the nutrients and how we can actually be moving during our cycle to really gain the most benefit. So this episode is jam-packed with all kinds of information and tips, and again, just a really inspiring story of understanding your body and advocating when you know that something is wrong. So go ahead, buckle in, get ready. If you are ready to go ahead and register for that women's health webinar, pause this video, check out the show notes, and you can actually go ahead and register now. It is completely free and you will have access to the recording for almost one whole week. So go ahead and make sure you snag that now or wait till the end of the episode until you've heard all of the good juice, and make sure that you are there with us next Monday. We'll be in the Worthy of Wellness Facebook group again with this webinar. We cannot wait to see you there. I hope you gain so much knowledge from today's episode. Whenever you're finished, go ahead and take a screenshot of this episode on your phone and share it out to your Instagram stories. Tag us. We cannot wait to see what you learned today. Okay, we are live on Facebook. Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. It is so good to see you. Today, we have a very, very, very special treat. Our newest consultant, Desi, is here with us today, and we're going to be talking about some women's health tips. So,
Yes, we are.
Desi is our brand new consultant, and she is what I like to call a women's health specialist. She is really interested in making sure that you, as a woman, are really set up for success. So, guys, I'm sorry today is not for you, but we do always remember have Tony for the guys or anyone really. But Desi is really here to focus on women's health today, and a really important part of that is her story. So I'm going to hand it over to her and ask her a couple questions. We have a little Q&A today. But at the end, be sure to stick around because we have a really exciting announcement for you guys. You are going to want to be here if you're female and you have any type of interest in your health. So
yes, ma'am.
Let's get into it. I'm so excited. Desi, tell me a little bit about your story and kind of how you really got interested in women's health.
Okay, what a story we have. So growing up, I played soccer for 14 years. So I was a female athlete, played it every single season. So I was already naturally really into health and fitness just because that's what I was doing growing up. But then when I decided not to play soccer in college, I had to kind of understand the separation of athlete and your health as an athlete versus my health as a person. And I call it like transitioning into like the real world. And I was trying to figure out how to approach like my health and fitness in a new kind of way because I wasn't having soccer anymore. I wasn't having those practices. I wasn't having the routine and other people tell me what to do anymore. I had to take ownership of my own health. It was time. I had to own it. And so I really didn't know what I was doing. I was overtraining. I was starting to feel really unwell, just really sore all the time, fitness wise. And so I was just trying to really navigate it. But then I also started to really like enjoy taking ownership. And that's when, I decided I wanted to become a personal trainer. And that's kind of a whole different career story. But I wanted to educate myself more. Unfortunately, I continued to feel pretty unwell. And I started to realize things weren't quite right. And I wasn't sure what. So I kind of took it into my own hands because that's all I knew what to do, and started to kind of do some research on maybe why I wasn't feeling so well in the gym and outside of the gym, and different things that maybe my doctors weren't telling me or they weren't aware of that I could kind of not self-diagnose, but just educate myself on maybe more of a holistic approach and a non-athlete approach, and just combining my experiences and then trying to understand how my body works as a woman who used to play sports but now doesn't play sports. It just piqued my interest and I just wanted to feel better. So I took it into my own hands.
That is amazing. It's a huge change when that happens. Desi and I actually went to high school together.
Yes, we did.
She is a dear, sweet old friend. But Desi was a soccer player and I was a cheerleader my entire youth and adolescent life. So like you said, like becoming an adult and not doing that in college is such a transition. And I know a lot of women probably experience that just because each phase of our life is so different in what our body needs, because as women, and Desi will touch on this a little bit more later, but as women, we're designed to do different things at different stages of our life, which we all know.
Yeah.
So just the way our bodies change, and it can be really a little tough, especially as a young adult, to see that change happen and not have that sport, or maybe you are a bit older and you either just had a kid or you had some type of injury and now you're not able to do the things you could do before. Seeing those body composition changes really can be a little disappointing. So that is definitely where a lot of people come into that road of like, well, what do I do now? Like something's got to give. And so that is where you kind of like decided, you're like, okay, I'm a woman, so I need to know about women's health. And I need to start figuring out what is going on with me. So when you talk about you weren't feeling great, would you share with us like a couple of kind of the main symptoms that you were just like, this is not right? Yeah.
There was a lot of things not right, Bailey girl. So I'll take you kind of down throughout my recent journey. So a little over a year ago, around Christmas time, not this past Christmas, but the year before, I just started to feel off. And if you're, growing up or at any age, like, when you just feel off, like you just feel very off. And I was starting to get quite dizzy and quite on edge without anything to spike it or give me that feeling. I would be, having a great time with my friends, and then all of a sudden I would just feel something very wrong. And I couldn't quite figure it out. And when I expressed it to my doctor, she wasn't quite sure either, because it wasn't being triggered by anything. So this became like quite frustrating. It happened for multiple months. I just tried to get a lot of rest. I kind of stopped going to the gym, which is really difficult. Just like an injury, it's very, very difficult when you can't do what you most like to do. And me wanting to be a personal trainer, that's my livelihood. I like to go and take care of my own body so I can help others understand their bodies as well. So then that started to even worsen. My frustration started to worsen with it. And I kept going to the doctor, and she just quite couldn't put a nail on it. But I started to get headaches. I couldn't sleep at night. I even started to have panic attacks, which I had never experienced before. So basically I was down for the count. And I was still in college at this point. So high stress situation. And then add all these health issues on top of it, just very frustrating. So all of this happened pre-COVID, and then COVID happened. Everything's still happening. I'm home from college now, able to kind of access my doctor more. And we said, okay, we're not figuring out, what's going on. Maybe we'll try, some anxiety medicine, and I'll do some blood work on you. But that's all we kind of really done. So fast forward a little bit, and I was like, this still isn't working. Like, nothing is working. So I was like, you know what? Kind of what I was saying earlier, I'm going to take this into my own hands. And, I do not recommend this, but I just started Googling things, which is not great for everybody. My family members took Google away from me for a while because I got too into it. But I came upon some things about adrenal health and thyroid health that really seemed to kind of explain perhaps what I was feeling. And this is kind of around summertime. This is when there was kind of like a turning point for me where I was like, I am interested in this. And no matter what doctor, and I love doctors and I completely respect, their knowledge, but some of these more holistic things just aren't as well known in like the medical world. So we need research, and research is constantly developing on this as well. Mm-hmm. But I was 100% convinced that I needed to take care of my adrenal health. And I guess I'll explain adrenals. If you haven't heard of what your adrenals are, they sit on top of your kidneys. You have two, and they kind of manage your stress and your cortisol. So they also work with your thyroid. So when I say adrenal and thyroid, most likely if you have an issue with one, you'll have issue with the other. So I was having symptoms from kind of both thyroid issues and adrenal issues.
And the reason that happens is because the adrenals are glands that release hormones.
Yes.
You may hear DHEA, I believe is the main one associated with adrenals. And your thyroid is, most women know, highly impacted by hormones. Yes. And it also produces a lot of hormones. So all of these things are all interrelated. It's just like the gut-brain connection that you've heard of before.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe it sounds a little different as the adrenal thyroid connection, but all of these things are connected. And especially for women, a lot of our things are connected through hormones. So I think it's really important to touch on that. And if you are a female and you've ever been to a doctor, especially a male doctor, you just know that like hormones just aren't really talked about it's like just a thing that we have, and like that's supposed to be enough information for us.
It's kind of taboo, like it's just kind of glossed over, and
there's just not a lot of education on it. So I'm really excited to hear everything you have to share with us. Also, fun note here, again, like she said, if you know what you're looking for and you know like the truth and facts behind science, Google can be your friend.
Yes.
But if not, always start with Google Scholar is my first recommendation, which I'm sure she's going to go into. That's where you'll find most of those research things she's talking about. Mm-hmm. But anyway, and if you don't want to do Google Scholar, then talk to one of us.
Exactly. We'll do the work for you.
Exactly. All right. Sorry. Continue.
Oh, no, of course. That was a great little scientific tidbit. So I've kind of talked about like how I was not feeling well. So I kind of want to go over like the hill a little bit and go towards what made me feel better and kind of this switch. So when I kind of started to understand how my adrenals and my thyroid were kind of interacting in regards to being a woman, as your thyroid is highly sensitive as it is, but as a woman, most thyroid issues are found in women. So it was not unheard of to have some thyroid issues. And once I started to really understand what that meant, I became really confident and okay, I can maybe, take a step to start feeling better. So I'm really big into supplementation, individual supplementation. So I wanted to fully understand what I was working with and fully understand the correlations between, okay, what can I supplement that would maybe go straight to my adrenals and kind of, help me out with all of this. And because adrenals are attached to your stress response and really affect that, and as well as anxiety, your metabolism, your thyroids, all the hormones are just connected everywhere, like we said.
Exactly.
I found a couple more holistic approaches with supplementation. If you have ever met me in real life or met me in my professional world, I will swear by ashwagandha. And people think I'm so silly, but it's a type of adaptogen, which sounds like what it is spelled like. It helps you adapt to stress. So I started to dive into what are adaptogens? How can they specifically help women who are in high stress jobs, in high stress situations such as college, or any type of stress? Everybody experiences stress, so why wouldn't you want an adaptogen? And I started to also, and Bailey can maybe touch on this a little bit more. I started to research on how inflammatory foods affects your training in the gym as well as your stress response. And so all these things, as we said, are connected. And once I just started to understand how I can maybe, replenish my body and help my adrenal health, how they can kind of all come full circle. And I actually started to feel better, which sounds crazy because I kind of just wung it and did it myself. I had some guidance from my doctor. I will definitely give her that. But again, some of this is kind of taboo. So I kind of had to go on to the Google Scholar side of things once I had my little love-hate relationship with normal Google.
Right. I want to just take a second and make sure you guys are hearing. She was honest and open with her doctor about everything she was experiencing and wanting to do. And even after, starting some of these supplements, it should never be something that is like you're hiding it from your doctor, because they want to help you.
Exactly.
A lot of times they just don't have the information to be able to do that. We as individuals truly do expect too much from doctors because it's their job to know, a lot of different conditions and be able to tell you what is wrong with you and give you, some medications that help with that. That's the job description of a doctor. That is what they learn in school. That's what they pay to be able to do, right?
Agreed.
This is why we have fitness professionals and we have nutrition professionals and even herbalists and holistic naturopathic doctors. All of these different fields of study have a place. And so
they can coexist. We can coexist.
Exactly. We have to work together. We have to work together in order to be the best. We can have it all, which is what she's trying to tell you. You can have all of it, but it should never be something that like you're hiding from your doctor. Even I know my doctors have gotten a little bit better about asking, but I know it's not common practice across the board. Even share your multivitamins that you're taking, your birth control. All these things are actually really important to understanding your health history. So super important that you hear that she is saying that fact there.
Facts.
So as far as the anti-inflammatory foods go, that's another thing that I heard you say was like you first kind of looked into it for, how is it going to help me in the gym? Because that's her main thought. Like that is her field of focus, right? And then she was able to find some research on how it affects you in other ways. Now, inflammatory foods are a very, very hot topic.
Yes.
Everybody, it seems like, and their mother wants to be on an anti-inflammatory diet. I have inflammation. I want help. To an extent, that is true because we are exposed to inflammation every day from lots of different things. Stress is a huge one. So we may never know or not, but all of Desi's symptoms could have been brought on just by the stress of being in college and everything that comes with that. It could have been, a whole host of other things. We are exposed to inflammatory things every day just by walking outside. And that's not something we want to give up because we know that's a healthy thing to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's really a balancing act. And I always educate people on the fact that it is always going to have a more potent effect on your body if you are including more anti-inflammatory foods. The top 3 that you actually have access to are turmeric, which is a spice. I like to put it in my eggs every day. Fiber is the second highest anti-inflammatory food, and then flavonols, which are actually found in the white pigment of foods. So potatoes, white grapes, things like that. Now, of course, we want to be mindful of moderation, but adding in those anti-inflammatory foods actually traps and reduces more inflammation than would if you removed all of the foods that are, quote, inflammatory. And I say quote because not everything affects everyone in the same way. So salt may really inflame me. It doesn't. I have salt on all my food all the time.
You love the salt.
I love flavorful food. But say salt really affects me, but it doesn't affect Desi that much. So I may consider that an inflammatory food, but she may not. So all of this is just very individualized and really playing around with, what makes you feel good and what do you notice makes you not feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And then everyone, again, can benefit from adding in those anti-inflammatory foods because we're still able to enjoy all the things we love. But if we're really focusing on adding in some of those more health promoting things, we diminish the effects. Does that make sense?
Well said, Bailey. Well said.
Thank you. Awesome. Okay. So much good stuff. So I love that you really kind of looked into everything and took your health into your own hands. What did that kind of feel like when you started to feel better and you're like, this might actually be working? Like,
oh my
describe
God.
to me I know what word you're going to use.
Empowering. That's like, you can ask Bailey. I use that word constantly, especially when it comes to women's health. I am so into empowering women in a way that is practical and realistic. And, me and Bailey and, the whole team here is here to kind of do the work for you and help you feel empowered without, you having to have all the Google issues I did or have to have these hard discussions with your doctors and kind of advocating for yourself. And feeling like you don't have anybody behind you. I was very fortunate where, I had other women in my family who kind of were piggybacking on my research and were kind of interested to see what I found out, and it helped empowering them. That's kind of where I saw that I could, help so many other women as well, because just women in my family were interested in what I was interested in. And the results I was getting from the different research and different supplementing things, etc., that I did. But it feels so good to finally kind of have a breakthrough and, this isn't maybe some huge, it could be some, chronic illness or whatever, but I was convinced that something was severely wrong with me. And when I kind of found out, I could take a more holistic approach and just kind of work from the inside out and see the results that way, it was empowering. It, kind of just gave me some peace of mind that, I had so much control over my health, more control than I realized, which is really awesome to kind of come to that realization.
It's really cool.
It is.
That's my favorite thing to say. It is so cool how
it's
much
just cool.
control we have over our health. And also the fact that you can do it without restricting yourself, without being miserable all the time because you're eating leaves and twigs and you're working out 8 times a day for 2 hours. So such a cool story. Thank you for sharing that with us today.
Of course, that's what I'm here for.
That empowerment feeling is what we're all chasing after, right? And we're really excited to help you actually start on that journey to empowerment. So maybe you were listening today and you heard like, well, I'm tired, or like, I feel really stressed all the time. Like, is there something wrong with me? Or maybe you are someone similar to me that has been exposed to all kinds of overwhelming information about nutrition and supplements and women's health, gut health. There's too much. It's too much. Okay.
Too much.
So much just noise out there. And so we want to quiet that noise, give you the real, true science behind what women's health even really means and how to really tune into your symptoms and your body and help you reach optimal functioning health.
Exactly.
So the way that we're going to do that is actually piggyback off of this conversation today. And Monday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, Desi and I are going to come back to you for International Women's Day with a women's health webinar. So we are going to be talking about all things women's health, hormones, again, how they're all related and what that even really means. Desi is going to give us some really cool tips on workouts for different phases of our cycles and how to fuel the flow.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So all really, really good stuff coming to you. Nutrition, fitness, holistic wellness for the everyday working woman. I think realistic is the biggest word there. Yep. Because this doesn't have to be some big mystery puzzle.
No.
Right? So on Monday, again at noon, we are going to be going live for 1 hour for this webinar. Now, if you can't get on for our lunchtime live, do not fear. We will be hosting a watch party of the webinar in the evening. So go ahead and comment on this video and let us know what time you are going to be able to watch it, and we'll try and host the watch party then. And just for being a member of our Worthy of Wellness Facebook group community, you are going to get access to this training until Sunday evening. So Monday, I forgot even what date that is.
I think it's the 1st.
The 1st. Monday the 1st. Week before. So we are giving you a whole week to learn about your body before International Women's Day so that you feel so empowered. Okay. So we are really excited about this. Again, you'll have almost a full week to access that. And any questions you have beforehand, you can get them answered during the webinar. All right. So go ahead, send us a message, drop a comment on this video, and we will get all of your questions answered. It is going to be so much fun.
Yes, it is.
So educational.
Girl power.
We can't wait to see you. If you want in, drop a comment, let us know, send us a message, and we will get you the link as soon as it is ready. We cannot wait to see you next Monday. Mark it on your calendars. It is going to be, again, so juicy, just so juicy.
I think it's going to be eye-opening. Eye-opening.
That's a very good thing. Way to put it, I would say, because I am going to be learning a whole lot right alongside you guys, right alongside you. It's going to be very informational for me.
Yes.
I hope you will join us and really just plug into this resource that you have for your health.
Oh, it's going to be so good. If you are interested in I think it's a good disclaimer to say before we end, Bailey, like when we want to talk about women's health, everybody's individual. Like we are all individual women. It's very important to understand that, your story is not my story. Just because I had adrenal issues and gut health issues, I can go in and, another topic in another month doesn't mean that necessarily you're going to have the same just because we're, both women, but there are like overarching women things like, we talked about thyroid health. From the fitness side of things, there's a lot of different muscle imbalances that women have that men necessarily don't have to deal with because we're built to do different things like childbearing. Same thing with body fat percentages. I have many people that I run into that compare their body fat percentages to their husbands. And I'm like, no. Women have 6 to 11% more body fat than men just naturally. Things like birth control and our cycles are going to be something big we talk about on Monday. So if you're really interested, that's where I really think it's going to be eye-opening. There's some many facts that I want to share about that. So if you are interested in any of that, and just pop in, it'll be a whole girl power moment. Why not?
Girl power. We love it. Oh, we cannot wait to see you. Oh, it's going to be so good. Yes. Do you have anything else for us before we end today?
I think just join in on Monday. It is going to be, we kind of talked about things kind of at service value today, and Monday we'll have tons of time to really go away a little bit from my story and go into the more science things that will just be a little interesting. You're supposed to learn something new every day. So that can be your thing for Monday. We have tons of new things you can learn.
Absolutely. I love it. Thank you guys so much. Until Monday, stay healthy and stay safe. We will see you soon. Thanks for tuning in today, guys.
Bye, guys.
Wow. What an episode. Can we just talk about this for a second? How incredible it was to hear the empowerment of someone else that has gone through something that may sound similar for you. So if you are really sitting there right now and thinking to yourself, I have to do something, I need a change, and I really need some help so that I know that I'm doing it correctly, go ahead and register for this women's health webinar. Again, it is going to be a free resource to you that you'll have access to for almost a full 7 days. We are really giving you this information because we believe that in order to empower others, we have to educate others. So knowledge is not this elusive thing that we should be keeping from other people. True value is shared, when we share our expertise, because not everyone knows better, and we can't do better until we know better. So it was our extreme honor, as you'll hear again in just a second, to be here and share our stories with you today and help you feel that this is a safe place for you to come and share your story and get all of your questions answered. So make sure you register for that webinar. You will get an email immediately after you register inviting you to our wellness community so that you are all set up and ready to go for Monday, March 8th, 2021 at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, you'll get access to the recording and all of the good stuff that you need to really succeed in honoring your health as a woman. We cannot wait to see you there. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and we cannot wait to see you soon. It was our greatest honor to take up space in your world today. Please share this episode to your social media pages and tag us at BeWellHWC. Cheers to you, friend, for choosing better for yourself starting today. It won't be easy, but it'll be worth it. Subscribe to the show and learn how to make healthy less hard, one tip at a time.